So I hear these ads all the time on radio and television. 10% loan. You can get a 10-year loan at 3% mortgage or whatever. And I'm going, how in the world can they do that? Well, answering those questions and a whole bunch more, Steve Aledort joining me here on the Ray Lucia Show. Stephen, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
So now, am I correct in assuming that interest rates have actually come down in the recent past?
Long-term interest rates. So, of course, we've all heard that the feds have raised interest rates.
Right.
They don't make it clear to the general public, who doesn't follow it like we do, that the rates that the feds are raising are the short-term rates. But the long-term mortgage rates in the last week or two, we're seeing decline. I think the 10-year is in the 2.2 range, and maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks ago it was at about 2.5. So we're seeing...
Which is a fairly significant drop. That's 0.25%.
As far as on the yield, it doesn't equally equate out to that drop in mortgage rates, but 30-year fixed rates, and again, these are with 0 points in that range. You know, you're looking at 4%, 15-year loans, you're looking in the low 3% range. 7-year loans, we're back in the low 3% range. Remember, we were at 3.25 for a while, and it jumped up to about 3.5. And now with 40% equity, good credit, we're back down into 3.2. And the jumbo loans are right around the same range as the conforming loans, 4%.
So here in San Diego, where just about every home is a jumbo home, you're paying how much for a mortgage?
You can get a 30-year between 4 and 4.25 based on down payment, loan to value, whether you're a purchaser or refinance. So the rates have settled, the long-term rates have settled down a little bit, which is good news. I don't expect to see any huge decrease, but you never know.
So taxes for the most part have been filed, except for people like me and you that file extensions, right?
Correct.
So can we talk about documentation? Because that seems to be, at least to me, because I'm like somewhat disorganized. You've done mortgages for me. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
A little bit of work, yes.
It is a little bit of work, but is there a way for individuals to cut through some of that?
Well, here's the thing, is that tax returns, as far as a mortgage, are most important if you are self-employed, if you own a corporation, if you own rental properties, because it's more than just your salary, your pay stub, and if you've got any overtime. So tax returns can make a big difference. Now, tax returns, of course, are due today. So if you are self-employed, then 2,000 returns on loans that close from today on, I'm either required to supply your 2016 returns completed and filed and submitted, or your extension. Now, with the returns, let's assume that you earned more income in 2016 than you did in 2015, and we really need that income to qualify. In order to count the returns, I have to, number one, provide the fact that you've sent them to the IRS, whether they have been e-filed or you sent them snail mail. I have to confirm that they've been received by the IRS.
So an extension doesn't cut the mustard?
No. We'll get to the extension.
Okay, sorry.
We'll get to the extension.
Didn't mean to jump ahead.
We'll get to the extension. And if you owe any money on the tax returns, and we need those returns to qualify, I need to show that that money has been paid to the IRS before I can use that income for 2016.
Okay.
So this is for returns that are filed. Now, if you filed an extension, we're going to need either 1 or 2 years past tax returns, either 14 and 15 or 15, depending upon whether we're doing a Fannie Mae Freddie Mac loan where I can sometimes get by with 1 year. But if we're doing a government loan, VA, FHA, we're doing a jumbo loan, 2 years are required. But whether we're doing Fannie, Freddie, FHA, VA, or jumbo, if we don't have your 16 returns, you're going to be required to at least provide a profit and loss for last year. If you're a corporation, you're required to provide a balance sheet, which is part of your corporate returns. And for all borrowers, even if you filed your 16 returns, we'll need a profit and loss and/or profit and loss and balance sheet for the first quarter of 2017. Now, for those people that have sent in an extension, there's still potentially an opportunity if you're not sure, well, could this help me out in qualifying for a loan, to still have a mortgage professional review your returns to let you know.
Very interesting. So, as you well know, I've been self-employed the better part of my adult life.
And so have I.
And it's caused me a lot of grief, because in many instances, as a self-employed, you have a company and you have you as an individual. If it's a corporation or a subchapter S or a C Corp or whatever, you receive a salary and then you also get distributions. But, and here's the point that I wanted to make on the qualification, many times the company goes on the hook for loan payments or lease payments. You're putting in cubicles, so you have 100 employees and it costs you $30,000, $50,000, a refurbishment, whatever, and you're paying payments, but all those payments are being made by the corporation. However, I don't know of any bank that's going to make a loan to a small, closely held corporation without me signing as a personal guarantor. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so basically what you're saying is that you've applied for a business loan. They've given you the business loan. The loan is for the business. You're paying it out of a corporate account or a business account. But because you had to personally guarantee it, when I pull your credit report,
yes,
because a credit report basically shows personal debt.
Right.
You can, and there are times, years ago through a credit union when I was doing some stuff with my business, I was able to get a business loan. And those loans don't necessarily show up on a personal credit report. But if it does, as long as we can provide documentation, number one, showing that the payments are being made from a business or a corporate account. So you're not commingling your funds. You're not having a regular account where you're making your business payments out of. We provide a copy of the statement of the debt, show it's being paid out of the business account, and be able to show it on that business tax return, then I don't necessarily have to count that debt against you.
Very, very important. If you're self-employed and you're thinking about doing a refinance, buying an investment property, or just moving into a bigger, better, nicer place and still take advantage of these near historic interest rates, then you need a little loan financial planning. That's why we have this dude on the program every week. He's the loan financial planner at loanfinancialplanning.com. Loanfinancialplanning.com. You can call Steve Aledort, 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070. I'm going to ask you to stick around for a little while longer, Steve, because I keep hearing these astronomically low interest rates being advertised, and why wouldn't I want to take out a shorter term loan and save a bundle in interest? You have some thoughts on that. I know you always do. So when we come back, we're going to tackle that. LoanFinancialPlanner.com is going to rejoin me here in just a bit. Make sure you stick around for some of the best content on managing debt that you'll ever hear on a radio or television program from the Loan Financial Planner, Steve Aledort. Stick around. This is The Ray Lucia Show.